I know for sure this will be the sickest story you've ever heard in your life. This is Josef Fritzl. I don't give a fuck if I'm saying his last name wrong. This man is sick. He was a normal man living a normal life, but he did something very disturbing to his daughter. So Joseph has 7 kids, by the way. His 18-year-old child, one day he just decided, I'm gonna lock her in the basement. This is the one who he decides to lock in the basement, and this is who this whole story is about. I don't know if you've seen this. There's movies about it. There's books about it. There's a main movie that they have on Netflix about it called A Girl in the Basement. But the story is really disgusting. One day he tells his daughter that he needs help with putting something in the basement. But the basement, the crazy thing about the basement is it's far, far away, and it's very far from his house, so that his wife can't hear anything that's going on down there in the basement. He takes her down there and locks her in there, handcuffs her and locks her in the basement. And he left her down there, and there was no light down there. There was no ventilation down there, and it was soundproof. And you had to walk down a bunch of halls and a bunch of doors from the main house just in order to get there. And while she was down here, she made the most of it. But he raped her multiple times. She had 7 kids by herself, by the way. She has 7 kids down here. One of the children that she had passed. One of them had died at birth because, like I said, she was doing this on her own. She had to read books on how to give birth. She gave birth on her own, and she taught every one of her children everything about the world and everything about life on her own. Out of the 7 kids that she had, 3 went upstairs and 3 stayed with her down here, because 1 had passed. And Joseph would leave the babies and take them upstairs. He would tell her to write a note and say, tell your mother that you're here, you're there, blah, blah, blah. She would write a note. They would take the kids upstairs, and the grandmother, which is his wife, which is their grandmother, would raise the babies. In 2008, one of the kids that were in the basement had to go to the hospital because they were terribly sick, like real sick. He had to take the child to the hospital. Now, this was the child's first time even being outdoors, seeing sunlight, anything. When the child went to the hospital, they were saying that the child was so pale, like it was almost like they were transparent from how pale the child was. It was the first time being outdoors. So doctors were trying to figure out, where was this child's mother? What's the medical history? There's nothing on this child. Joseph had to go grab his daughter from the basement and, get answers, blah, blah, blah. They had to track her down. That's when he was finally pressured into telling the truth. Those children were down there for 20 plus years, about 23 years maybe, but she was down there for 24 years as a whole. Joseph wound up getting into a lot of legal trouble. In so many words, let's just say that Joseph is spending life in prison. He's still spending life in prison as of 2025 of me recording this. As you can see, those kids and Elizabeth made the best of that situation that they could to make a life out of it. I thought that it was really amazing that the kids were taught to read and write and do everything that they learned, and she taught them all of it. They had a TV down there. They had all kinds of activities and things like that. As of today, Elizabeth lives with all of her children, which is very ironic. They all live together in Austria. At least they made the best out of it.